You know, a lot of people say that their favorite stream is the Monday night Dieter stream. It is draft week. Dieter has done his own draft guide. Lynch spoke today. We got a lot to talk about. Dieter's got some draft guides to sell.
Yep.
Let's go. Off and running Monday night on the Krug Show. Hope everybody's having a great one. Brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeraldville. They're in Corte Madera. They're soon to open in Petaluma, and I mean very soon. Open from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out, and they do run out. So get there early. Get some brisket chili. Go get some pulled pork. Do some of those house-made sausages. Everything at Pig and a Pickle is amazing. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. They are proud sponsors of the Krug Show. We really appreciate Pig and a Pickle for being a sponsor of the Krug Show, and we really appreciate them quite a bit. Also, we are brought to you by Prize Picks, and we're going to do a little Prize Picks lineup here. And not right this second or anything.
No, that'd be weird.
Right into it.
Gotta get, hey, you know what? They need you to do it at some point. Maybe get it out of the way. I don't know. You're
all right, here we go. The show is presented, but the Krug Show is presented by Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app. Prize Picks is super simple. You just pick more or less on player stats, even game outcomes. You build your lineup. It's available in most states, including California. If you haven't checked it out yet, use code HMA. In the corner of the screen, it says HMA. When you play $5, you'll get $50 in lineups instantly. We'll do a lineup, but we'll do it later. We're not going to do it right now. We're going to do it a little bit later. Later. We're not going to, I know you guys are excited. And also, thank you to Habas Law. We'll talk more about them as well in a bit. But Habas Law, they're my attorneys. They're fantastic. Omar Habas is a California licensed attorney. Visit them on the web, habaslaw.com. They will fight to make it right. We'll talk more about them in a bit. But today in Santa Clara, today was the beginning of NFL Draft Week locally.
Yep.
John Lynch spoke, and there was a lot of news today in Ninerland. And just a brief, just quick one. They extended Trent Williams. They began phase 1, the voluntary part of the OTAs. Lynch said the attendance was good. Schefter reported Mac Jones is not going anywhere during the draft. Schefter also reported that Brandon Aiyuk could be traded during the draft. Lynch said it's not likely, not a high probability, but there's a chance, let's just say. They're probably going to release him, it sounds like. But it sounds like there's a possibility, and he's had follow-up calls on Aiyuk with teams, which tells me there's some dialogue there. What else? Nate Hobbs is going to wear number 22. That's
very important. Yeah.
Very vitally important. Jimmy Garoppolo may retire. No, but Lynch said we're in a good place with the draft process. He confirmed that Trent Williams is signed. He said that Trent Williams may have his 71 retired at some point, which is something in the future.
Sure.
Then he said the first thing on the draft, he said, the question was, does the signing of Trent impact your draft plans? And John said, no, it won't impact our draft plans and what we do at 27.
Yeah.
And yet this is the lying season. This is the smokescreen season. And yet John and Kyle are the hardest guys. They're hard. They're not great poker players. They're not great liars. They're more, they actually tell you the truth. And that kind of throws people off. So what do you think? I mean, he actually said that he doesn't believe the 49ers have a lot of needs, that after free agency, he feels like he's filled a lot of the needs, which whether that's true or not, Dieter, I like that mindset because you're going down the road of best player available road, and best player available road, I think, is a smarter road than we need a defensive end on first down that can do this and on third down that can do that, who also isn't in the police blotter and his knees are healthy and everything.
Yeah. Like last year.
Pretty soon you're like, well, it's like Plinko. And
Nick Martin, 75, go.
Yeah, you wound up with Jacob Cowing.
You're not allowed to say Plinko. I literally wrote that in the column, and I haven't posted the column yet.
No way.
It is just a fancy game of drunken plinko was my exact line. So that's annoying.
Plinko would be the best way to do the NFL draft.
That's how the NBA should redo their lottery. We're going to play plinko.
Seriously.
Okay. So along those lines, John Lynch isn't lying. I thought he was extremely forthright, and I appreciated it. And the idea that Trent re-signing doesn't change their plans is, in fact, the truth, because the plan was always that they were going to get Trent signed. So they haven't operated on a premise. I've been saying this for weeks. They've been operating on the premise of Trent's going to be on our team. So they didn't create some alternative plan on if Trent isn't here, right? They just didn't. And so how could he have changed their plans if they were always operating under the premise that he was going to be here and signed and ready to go for the next 2 years? It does not exclude the possibility of them taking an offensive tackle, but you're right, 100% right. They're going best available. And while they don't have needs, no team can be too deep. And they certainly have places that maybe need more addressing than others. Maybe they have places that they would like to get. Like, they can get by with what they have currently. They don't need the draft to put out a competitive, playoff-worthy football team. That's a really good place to be. Now, if you nail the draft, you can be even better. But if you completely whiff on everything, we'll have a much larger conversation, but they will be fine. They will be A-okay in that situation because they did the thing that they didn't do last year, which is they spent money and were prudent in free agency. They went out and they filled the holes that they had, the obvious holes that they had. X receiver, weak side linebacker. I would still even argue left guard. They went out and got guys in free agency that they can trust to do the job, some more than others, but nevertheless, if they have to ride out there with Robert Jones, they're going to feel okay. Certainly you feel good about Williams. Certainly you feel good about Dre Greenlaw. Go down the line. They did a good job in free agency.
Evans and Kirk.
Yeah. So, and then you even take it one step beyond that. Like, they brought in a couple of guys earlier this week who might not make the roster, or last week, might not make the roster, but it's a body. It's somebody that, hey, worst case scenario, he's played in the league a little bit. He could be a situational pass rusher. He could be blah, blah, blah. So they're in a really good spot, and it puts them in a perfect situation to, as John Lynch overtly said, and what I've been telling people, I've been hearing left, right, and center, which is the Niners don't have a plan. And I mean that not in a pejorative way at all. It's just they're going to do their homework. They're going to have, just like last year with pick 11, 3 or 4 guys that they're really hoping fall to them there. And then they're going to make a decision on the 3 or 4 guys that they expect to be there. And in all likelihood, there will be 3 or 4 guys that they really like who will be hanging out for them at 27. And if there isn't, they can also do the fun thing of getting the hell out of pick 27. Because if you, as Lynch again alluded to, and something I've been saying, and this is my own opinion, and then the opinion of many people around the league for weeks, like, after you get past 10, 11, maybe 12, it's really kind of subjective in that regard, it is flat. Like, almost to the 3rd round flat between the middle of the first.
When you say flat, you mean the players are very similar.
It's if you want to take Caden McDonald at 15 overall, I can't tell you you're wrong, right? If you want to go and you want to take R. Mason Tom, I'm going to tell you you're wrong. That's not my kind of player, but like, he could go in the top 20. It's flat in the sense of there's just not that much difference between a lot of these guys. And I think the way that Lynch phrased it is like, what's your flavor? So teams are going to have certain things that they like more than others, certain things they need more than others, certain things that they value more than others, certain things that fit more than others. And so I don't know if there's going to be a tremendous amount of trading. I do think that is the scuttlebutt right now. Like, oh, no one really has a good feel for what they want to do after the top 10 picks or so. And even then, there's kind of a looseness to it because there's probably only 5 or 6 true blue chippers. And so there could be a lot of movement. I just think there's going to be a lot of weirdness. So I don't think teams are going to be coming off of their picks fast and furious, because what's the incentive for anyone to move up? There's a lot of incentive to move down, but you need 2 to tango. And I don't know of that many guys, that many teams that are going to be like, oh, hell yeah, we got to get up and get this guy. So I think we're going to see a lot of safeties, 3 first-round safeties, which is pretty standard at this point if you look at mock drafts. I think we're going to see, contrary to good logic, maybe 2 guards in the first round. All of the offensive tackles are probably going to go way earlier than we would like to think right now, on the basis of, when in doubt, take the OT and take guys in the trenches. I think edge rushers that I don't value, and probably our sub-package guys might be going in the first round. And then I think the second and the third rounds is going to have just tremendous value for teams, because there could be guys that have first-round grades that if you want to have the metal and hang out, you can maybe get them in the second round and loose first-round grade. Because, again, there's just not that much difference, certainly somewhere between 10 and 15 and like 50 and 60. But then even beyond that, like the difference between pick 50 and pick 80 isn't that much either. Or pick 90, it's not that much either. Once you get to about 100, 110, cliff. It's day 3 of the draft is going to be just guessing. We usually talk about round 6 and 7 being kind of a undrafted free agency with priority, right? Like, we don't want this guy to hit undrafted free agency, so we're going to take him. And things kind of get weird there. That's going to be like round 4. There's going to be a couple teams that are like, I don't know, we can cut this guy if we don't like him in round 4. So days
I
1 and 2
think
are
the 49ers are going to be absolutely sitting in a perfect spot with those fourth round picks, because we're going to get to there's a lot of guys that fall into that second, third, fourth range. And it's beauty in the eye of the beholder. And for everybody who takes somebody that, you're like, kind of like, really? That means some really good player potentially can fall to the fourth round. Almost all the mock drafts that I'm looking at, the fourth round is loaded with all kinds of guys that you're like, whoa, that guy could come in and start. That guy could really play a role. Now they might have some limitations, but like, if you want the best blocking tight end and you think it's that kid from the Buckeyes, he's going to be there in the fourth round.
You're not going to wait for anybody. And that makes the final rounds. I mean, there's going to be guys in rounds 6 and 7 that, like, I'm not going to lie, like, I'm not going to know who they are. And I got 250 prospect reports and 400, minor reports sitting on a computer. And there's going to be names that come out that I've never, oh shit, I didn't write that guy up at all. Because it is going to be so topsy-turvy. But yeah, the Niners are sitting really pretty. 27, they can let it come to them. They probably, though not necessarily, might want to move up from 58. And again, the best move has always been down from 27 up from 58. And then those 4 in the fourth round, that's the end of the draft in effect. And they'll get their picks in if they don't do anything. But I do think they'll be moving around a lot. But I've been sending crazy texts. Like, it feels like 75, 80% of people I reach out to, it's like, yeah, we're open to moving down, and like trying to let that information be out. I mean, the Seahawks came out today. They only have 4 picks, and they're like, it is no secret that we do not want to take this first round pick. If you would like to call us and get a first round pick, please, my direct line. Like, John Schneider almost gave out his phone number today to get somebody to call him and take 32 off. They just
because the same guy you take at 32, you might be able to take at 99.
Right.
And if you have 2 of those picks, then you 2 for 1. Why not?
Number 10 just went for a defensive tackle who's almost 30. Like,
and also, if you're a really good personnel guy, when you get to the draft and you spent hours and hours and hours, you don't even care if the draft is thin here or not thin there or whatever, because you believe that you're going to be able to pick good players in every round.
100%. So I'm fascinated to see what the Niners do, but I was very encouraged from a 49ers stance of how chill Lynch seemed.
Yeah.
Like that's really important, because last year they were tight. My God, were they tight. And they're like, we're going to hand it all over to Bob, and we got all of our coaches, and they're all, we made them do all the draft stuff. Like, the fact that Lynch is up there and he's like, yeah, what happens. Like, that's a good sign, even if you don't agree with his opinion on his roster. Like, it's a good sign, because that means you're not doing dumb panic stuff when you get on the clock at 27 and 58 and 127, 133, 138, and 139.
Right. You're not sitting there going, we have to have this. So, he was asked about drafting for immediate need or going for the best long-term player. And, people are wanting to know, is he going to take an offensive tackle basically and sit him on the bench, for a couple of years, or put him at guard if they can't, maybe the guy can play guard, maybe he can't, but that's the goal. And John's like, hey, we want to pick the best players. And then John said that he likes the depth at some of these positions. And I kind of agree with them. He thought that there's good depth at offensive line, wide receiver, and edge rusher. I don't know if I would agree with the edge rushers, but I definitely agree with the offensive line and the wide receivers. But he said you're just looking for an impact player, which I like that mindset. He was also asked, are you more apt to take a premium position, left tackle, wide receiver, edge, over drafting a less premium position? Because there's a lot of talk about safety and guard. And he's like, we need to add good young football players, period.
Yeah.
So that kind of told me he's open-minded. Now, one thing I wanted to ask you about, and I was as soon as he said this, I'm like, oh man, if Dieter's on tonight, I got to ask about this. I thought the most interesting part of this thing was when John Lynch, and I have it in my notes. He was basically.
Is this the 25-year-old stuff?
No, this was the
I thought
one.
That was interesting. Yeah.
This was the one. Let me see if I can find it in my notes.
I got the transcript right here. Give me a paraphrasing. I'll give you the quote.
Yeah, it was when John was talking about. Let me see, it's page 2 of the notes. He was talking. What the heck was it that I was just? It was really caught my attention. Now I can't find it.
If only Dieter was here.
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay, he did trade talk. He did
drafting
8 versus 10.
No, where he starts getting into. At one point, he gets. Here it is. Yeah, at one point he gets into says they may go for a player that has great upside, and even though they have veterans at that position, and it was like what? Okay, and it wasn't. It was like I thought first maybe he's talking about Aiyuk. Maybe they're going to take Aiyuk, even though they signed Trent and they like McKivitz, and today they just signed Pleasance, and he literally said, "We like our tackle depth." Yeah. So is that a gigantic smokescreen for they're going to take Max Aiyuk, who looks like an amazing talent? This guy is. I very few guys I've seen that look better. He's 330. He's if you could draw it up in a lab as far as how he would look, ideal offensive line build to look, he has that ideal build. And then he's an amazing natural player who, Alex Boone, it's funny. I'm doing this pod tomorrow with Alex Boone, and we did the first one last week, and he was talking about Aiyuk at the Senior Bowl. And this is a guy who played in the NFL. And Boone's like the first day at the Senior Bowl practices, and Boone was in Mobile. And he said they just looked really raw. Like I'm watching this guy and I'm like, this guy's awesome to look at, but he's just making all kinds of mistakes. He goes, by day 2, he was better. By the end of the week, he was a lot better.
Yeah.
So, think about that. We're talking about a guy who's getting better at the Senior Bowl, and just because of the instruction that he's getting there. You put him with Furster, who's a great teacher, right? Maybe Aiyuk could be the guy. But the other thought I have, and it's like everybody's got a trend. And I'm like, I got to ask Dieter about this. Dieter, what do you like? Bill Belichick's trend was that he was tight with Nick Saban and he drafted Bama guys. And ultimately it was his undoing. He drafted too many Bama guys and they sucked. And too many busts. And Belichick, the GM, got Belichick, the Hall of Fame head coach, fired. Yeah. I think of John Lynch's trend. If I'm scouting John Lynch and we have a number of drafts now, we could kind of look at it. I think John Lynch is a real big fan of Kirby Smart, big fan of that Georgia program. And I think he was at that Georgia Pro Day for a reason. And I think that reason was either Kristen Miller, who's just a big, tough defensive tackle who the Niners always seem like they go for. And there's a lot of pass rush in that body for sure. There's a lot of talent there. He's an amazing prospect, even though people don't really like to talk about him. And then the other one is the linebacker, C.J. Allen. They don't need C.J. Allen, but the scouting reports in the Brugler draft guide make C.J. Allen sound really awesome. Like he's a great guy who works incredibly hard. And we know he's a good athlete. He just ran 4.4. He was very productive on a great defense, on one of the best defenses. He was the best. He was the leader of the best defense in the best conference in college football that Lynch is a huge fan of.
For
And
3 straight years.
I just really think that the Niners are going to take. Like, are you really? I mean, think about it. It's draft season, Dieter. Your time was busy. My time's busy. How busy do you think John Lynch's time is? He got on a plane in Northern California and went to Athens, Georgia. He didn't do that for shits and giggles. He did that because he's looking at investing his first-round draft choice in somebody there. Is it Monroe Freeling? Is it Kristen Miller? Is it C.J. Allen? But I really think that all this talk about the rushers, the guards, I think they may go C.J. Allen behind Greenlaw and Warner. And if they don't go, they may go Kristen Miller, a defensive tackle. And when I put it out there today, people were like, if Lynch drafts Kristen Miller, he should be fired. I'm like, whoa. What do you think?
Well, I think that, he is busy. So going to a place where there's going to be 7 top 100 prospects and you have all of your picks in the top 140 is a good usage of your time, even if it does require a cross-country flight. Listen, the 2 people who are holding the most Michael Williams stock on this planet are myself and John Lynch. Like, we are anything you want to sell us, we're taking. We're buying. If you think this is buying low, wait until you see the highs. I'm still a one-man run defense. We don't need to get into all of that. So, yeah, he should be giving the benefit of the doubt, the default move to, hey, if we got 3 or 4 guys here that we like, let's just take the Georgia guy. In the same way that, the going logic in the NFL is, I like this wide receiver, I like this cornerback, and I like this defensive tackle and this end and this offensive tackle. You prioritize trenches first. If you have to do a tiebreaker, take the guy in the trench, and you worry about the skill stuff later. So I don't know if it's that much of a tell, other than, there's a lot of really good players at Georgia, and there's a lot of players that can fit what the 49ers need. Now, Allen would be a great pick by the 49ers at 27. I'm not sure he gets there, but he could. He could. It's a realistic thing.
What did you have about him in the guide? I mean, some people, I know one of my buddies who's I think one of the best scouts I know, thinks that he's a defensive end. Now, another guy said, you know what? No, he's a green dot. He's a middle backer, and he's Roquan Smith with not as good an athlete, but better processing.
He's been the starting middle linebacker for Georgia since his true freshman season. Like, he's a green dot linebacker. He's a Mike, and he's just going to be a very, very, very good pro. He could be all pro, something like that, but he's going to be Pro Bowl adjacent at the very worst. He's not the most fluid guy. Doesn't really matter because he's so instinctual. He understands the game so well. He's, again, started as a freshman on the Georgia defense, like national championship contender. And they're like, roll out the child at middle linebacker. So, yeah, he's pretty good. And I was kind of running through a mock today with just intel or whatever the hell you want to call it, conversations that I've been having. And he could go anywhere from like 16 onwards. It wouldn't even shock me if the Rams, who kind of have a play toy of a 13th pick that no one really knows what the hell they're going to do with, like, they could just go C.J. Allen. They could be enamored with him. The flip side of it is he's the second best middle linebacker in this class behind Sonny Styles, though I have no idea what Sonny Styles is. I just know that he's a really good football player.
6'5", 245, and he's a safety.
He's bizarre. He's a bizarre player. He's going to, if you give him the right coaching, he's going to be truly elite. I don't know if he's going to get that right coaching. We're going to find out. But there are 4 or 5 linebackers that I really, really like, and that it's very difficult to make a differentiation on. And I've heard all of these guys be ranked higher than the others, with the exception of the last one that I'll name. So Allen and Anthony Hill. I'm an Anthony Hill guy. It's not to disparage Allen in any way. I prefer Hill. I think that Hill's a little raw. I think he has higher upside. I think Allen has a higher floor, very high upside himself. But then there's a lot of lovers of Jake Galladay out of Cincinnati. because he's just fast and he's really big. He's tall. That matters. And Jacob Rodriguez
105 tackles too. I mean, that's always nice.
Jacob Rodriguez has a lot of admirers in the league, to the point where he could very well be a first-round pick, and someone might trade up into the first round to go get Jacob Rodriguez. That could be their target, especially at 32. The other guy that I have heard love in, and this is a bit of a confirmation, it's maybe not confirmation, but they know to tell me these things because it makes me happy, is Josiah Trotter, the Missouri guy. There are some teams that really think that there's not much difference between him and the rest of them. So it will be interesting to see where, if it comes to pass, but like where the Niners fall on that, because there are some Hill teams, there are some Allen teams, there's a couple of Galladay teams, and there's a lot, and the Rodriguez teams are like hardcore Rodriguez teams from what I can tell. And then Trotter's kind of in that mix as well. I don't know if the Niners are going to be I think Allen goes first. Do they start a linebacker run at 27? And now by the time you get to the second round, there might only be one of those guys left. Like, that would be interesting. But
what's interesting to me, as far as, this group of these kind of day two, guys we're talking about, Raheem Morris likes those smaller rushers. And we saw it last year with Jalen Walker and Pierce, right?
5-man fronts, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. There are two guys this year that, if you like Jalen Walker, who's, what's Jalen Walker? He's a stack backer who's just so fast that he beats guys to the edge. He doesn't really have that, that body lean, or, where he leans on his inside shoulder. He really doesn't. He's more of like just a super great athlete. Well, who are like that this year? Jayshon Barham and Harold Perkins. And to me, Perkins is 6'1", 225. Barham's 6'3", 240, but they're both edge rushers with speed. And if I were the 49ers, I'd love to be able to move back, get into that, third round, maybe even move back a couple times and see if I can get a couple picks in that third round and take both Barham and Perkins and add those guys to your defensive front with Bosa and your, tackles. Now you've got these speedy guys off the edge. I think that would change the dynamic of their defense altogether.
And if you can move up from 58, because I don't think Hill makes it to 58. I mean, he was just an unbelievable blitzer at Texas, to the point where it was almost comical how often they would bring him on the blitz from everywhere on the field. I think he has incredible instincts as a linebacker as well. Jake
big plays too. The guy makes big plays, picks, forced fumbles, sacks. I mean, the guy's everywhere.
He's got a lot of Devin White to him. He's got some Dre Greenlaw to him. When he hits, you get hit. I'm a big Hill guy, and if you're looking at, and this is part of the interesting part, we don't really know what the 49ers defense is going to be. We know what they're going to run up front in terms of the four-man down. We know that they'll be a zone team, probably in a cover two situation with one guy who's strong to come into the box every now and again. But we don't know if they're going to take the full Atlanta Jeff Ulbrich 2025 defense and port it over here, which would make a lot of sense given that Kyle wanted to hire Ulbrich and then couldn't get him, and then the whole thing. So maybe they just want that exact defense, the defense that they, of course, tore up on, what was it, Sunday or Monday Night Football, with gap stuff. But they could just port that over. It could be a whole new thing. It could be a lot more basic of a thing. Is Raheem tries to figure out his personnel and keeps it basic and then ramps up. We don't know how they draft could very well tell us what kind of defense it is that they want to have this upcoming season. If they want to go with Allen, that tells us, hey, we're going to ride this wave. We're going to keep kind of the formula that we've seen. A lot of cover 3, a lot of cover 4, drop back in zone, like have a true green dot there. If they want to go with Hill, that means five-man fronts and more blitzes and point of attack defense and stuff like that. If they wait and they go with a Perkins, same thing. Though I do think that Perkins might be the player that defines the end of the draft, as I consider it. Like, the second Perkins goes, at that point, like, all the good players are gone. He's kind of like the faux Mr. Irrelevant this year.
Turn out the lights when Perkins' pick gets made.
Because he'll go at like 125 to 140. just given because he didn't have much production. He was this unbelievable prospect going to LSU.
He's
it never
a five-star guy who's really not a stack backer, but
they tried him at three different spots.
Safety, he's not a safety. Yeah. What he really is just a pass rusher. He's an athlete.
I have no problem taking that guy in the 4th round, right? Because you have unbelievable pedigree, no production. That's what the day 3 is all about. You get one or the other. You either get all the production and it doesn't make any sense, or you get a guy who has all the athleticism in the world. And it's like, why isn't he good at football? Well, we'll find out. But like Perkins feels like
I think he's good at football. He's like a magnet to the football at times. He's really athletic. I don't know. To me, he's a difference-making athlete. On day 3, albeit
but does he have it between the ears? Is he in the right spot?
He might not be. Yeah, he might not be. But
you think LSU wanted to move him around 3 times, try him at 3 different positions?
No.
I'm pretty sure that they wanted him to work somewhere.
Let's talk wide receivers for a second.
Sure.
The wide receivers? Give me a early, mid, and late receiver option. You give me 3 receivers that you like. One early, one mid, one late.
At 27, I don't think Concepcion is going to be there, but I'm all in on Concepcion. I think that he can play all 3 spots. I think that he's totally underrated as a route runner, as a pass catcher. I know that he has some drops. A lot of those are him trying to figure out how to get more yardage afterwards. Like, that's something that doesn't feel fundamentally problematic to me. That feels coachable to me. And that, frankly, would be the only reason why you couldn't take him in the top 15, which I'm not sure is he might be the 3rd wide receiver off the board, and there might be 3 wide receivers off the board by 15. So I'll go there, though. I'm a big Chris Brazzell guy. I have him as my number 2. I prefer him to Tyson even, but he's such a specific type of receiver, a true X. I just think he's going to be really special at that spot. And Tyson has the injury concerns, a little bit of a loopy route runner. The highlights are really good, but the lowlights are really kind of tough at the same time. So it's just a bit more of a gamble. Lemon is a very solid receiver. Just not my type. But I know teams that he is very much their type, and he'll go in the top 20 in this draft. So I'll go Concepcion early. Middle's tricky. I have the guy that I'll throw, and I don't think this is too early to call him a middle guy. Like, I think there's something to Deion Burks that is worth exploring. The Oklahoma receiver. He is not big, but every time he touches the ball,
he is big in the weight room.
I mean, yeah,
he owns the weight room. This kid is strong.
Every time he touches, but
I love him.
Short. Every time he touches the ball, something really cool happens, and I think it was the Oklahoma offense that held him back. And I think
he was good you got to look at the Purdue film.
Yeah, kind of like Dylan Thiemann, who actually produced at Oregon, but like his Purdue film was really, really solid. Before that, just insane speed, insane strength. It's projection, but I view him as kind of like a more explosive Trey Tucker, and Trey Tucker's a really good player. So if we're talking, somewhere between 75 and 100, like that's a really cool spot for him. And then late, not the coolest pick, not the sexiest pick. Like, I like Eric Rivers out of Georgia Tech. I don't think Deshaun Stripling has gone up these boards like crazy. I'm still not fully seeing it. But how about Caden Weegan out of Iowa, who I don't think will play from scrimmage all that often outside of like true gadget plays, but immediately comes in and is one of the best punt returners in the NFL. And I think has a really high chance of being a really good kick returner too. Do you remember Jakeem Grant from the Dolphins?
Yeah, really short guy but fast. He had a gait like a quarter horse. You ever watch quarter horses from like Los Al? He like had a quarter horse gait. He was like super powerful and short and awesome.
Weegan's like that. Weegan's got the 99 speed, 99 agility on the video game. Like, if he sees it right, you're not touching him. It's not a question of, you're not touching him. So for a team that drafted Junior Bergen in the 7th round, Like, why not get someone who is objectively awesome at this in Caden Weegan with your last pick, wherever that might end up? Because he's a day 3 guy. And I do think that Kyle could figure out ways for 2, 3, 5 snaps a game, get him in there, and just see if he can make something cool happen. His speed and his agility and his ability to cut in the open field is so impressive that merely having him out on the field just as a gadget player will make the defense have to reckon with it. And for a team that's already drafted a Jacob Cowing, for a team that drafted a Danny Gray before, for a team that's drafted a Junior Bergen, like he could kind of make up for all of that by just being a really good punt and kick returner who every now and again you can throw on the field and something cool might happen.
Dieter, can you hold down the fort for 30 seconds? It looks like my dog
Sure.
ran outside. Hold on.
In the rain.
Give me.
I'll throw some other names, though.
Give me 45 seconds.
Jeremy Bernard's a name that I think a lot of teams around the NFL value pretty highly. Not to the point where he's like a guaranteed first-round pick, but to the point where it would be kind of a shocker if he got anywhere near pick 58, because it's just a very high floor. He's smooth. There is some question about his straight line speed, but he runs pretty crisp routes. He can play X. He blocks his ass off when you give him the opportunity. You can play him in line. I think Jeremy Bernard has a lot of admirers. A guy that I'm a little bit lower on than most is Omar Cooper, in that so many of his receptions at Indiana. And listen, I know for a fact there are teams that consider Omar Cooper to be a bona fide first-round talent. And if they get the opportunity, and like Lemon's already off the board, like Omar Cooper's up next for them. He isn't for me. I have him 50th overall, and I actually have him behind Jacoby Lane of USC. There's some other things going on with Jacoby Lane, but I think Jacoby Lane's like kind of awesome. I have Omar Cooper. It's like a clear day 2 pick, and behind a bunch of other, good. I think it's a pretty good receiver class. In fact, it might be the strongest position in this draft. There's a lot of yakage there. A lot of that yakage doesn't feel replicable to an NFL offense, in that it's a lot of screens. It's like 40, 50% screens off of RPOs, and just nobody runs that stuff. And it's not to say that he can't do the things that they're going to, teams are going to ask him to do at the NFL level. It's just that I do think that the learning curve for a guy like Omar Cooper might be a little bit higher. And I just don't know what the ceiling is for a guy who frankly ran all over, sorry to impugn Purdue, but like ran all over Purdue and whipped up on Michigan State. Like, Omar Cooper's a good player. I don't think he's worth a first-round pick. And I don't really think I could look like a total jackass. I just don't think that the Niners are super into it, because he doesn't run a full tree, and the stuff that he runs is good, but it's pretty limited, and it would be basically a third down receiver. And I just don't think that that's worth the juice is worth the squeeze that early, when I can see a bunch of third down receivers later in the draft.
The way Shanahan described, Christian Kirk and Mike Evans as like adults,
yeah,
you can kind of see that he wants a receiver that's ready to roll.
Sure.
I think he's frustrated by the slow development of the rookie receivers. I'm sure if he's not, I am.
He's always going to redshirt a rookie. I mean, the one guy that didn't really get a red shirt as a rookie was Debo, and they kind of threw him out there early. That's his favorite player ever. And it still took half a season and an Emmanuel Sanders trade to get Debo consistently on the field. So, Brandon Aiyuk spent the first year in the doghouse. Like, the Kyle Shanahan graduate school of wide receivers is a 1-year program. And unless something goes horribly wrong, like, you're not seeing the field for a year. And they have to Kyle has to really, really like you and think that you have a very high floor to see the field at all. So I don't know if he feels like Jordan Watkins has graduated from grad school yet or not, but I do know that they went out and signed 2 receivers in free agency, and that's pretty telling that they feel like at X they can go with 3 options. They can go with Mike Evans, obviously 1. They can put Pearsall back out there if they have to, and then maybe Watkins is that third option. I wouldn't be shocked if that's more the direction they went with if they did draft a receiver here. Kirk is a Z alongside Pearsall, And I guess everybody else, anyone can really be a Z if you got some movement ability. And then the flanker spot, that third down spot, like it's just sort of, we'll figure it out. We'll see who wins that job in camp. And I think they're in a pretty good spot at wide receiver. I don't think that they should be in a position where they shouldn't add somebody, but I don't think they have to add anybody. And with this draft being so loaded at receiver, it seems like that's something they'll wait on, though. Again, that might sound really stupid in a couple days.
Well, you could wait. I mean, I think you could definitely wait till the 4th round, but you could also wait till after the draft. I mean, I really believe that. It's interesting. I love Deion Burks, by the way. I think that's a great call. He's got great strength, great explosion. He doesn't have good production, but you know what? I'd take a shot on him. Because
you watch that Oklahoma offense. I'm not sure how you're supposed to have good production.
Yeah, it's bad offense. And also, I mean, the strength and the speed. I mean, to me, it's like the Niners have had these fast little guys, but Jacob Cowing lacks strength. Danny Gray lacks strength. Right. Why is Tyreek Hill so tiny, but he's also good? Because he's strong as hell. Right. He's really strong. And you got like the most underrated aspect of being a receiver is toughness.
Totally.
People comparing Ricky Pearsall to Julian Edelman because they're both Caucasian. I mean, come on. It's like you're telling me he's the toughest guy ever. And, so you got to have toughness as a receiver. As far as this group, there's so many good receivers every year, but also there's so many busts. I mean, Carnell Tate's my favorite. I don't get the Mekhi Lemon thing. I know he's got great routes, but he doesn't run fast and he doesn't. No. He's not big, and to say he's JSN, no way.
No,
I don't see it. I know he's a great.
Well, he didn't put up 300 yards in a Rose Bowl once.
Yeah, I mean he's a big talent, but there's limits to his escapability and ability to separate at that size and that speed with that level of strength. To me, he seems hugely bust potential. Jordan Tyson, I think, has got injury concerns, and I think he's beautiful to watch, but he's also got a softness about him that I don't know if he's gonna last in the NFL. I would say no. I think he'll be like a boom or bust kind of guy, and maybe both. He'll be like a boom, and then he won't play very much. Omar Cooper, I think, is the best. He's the biggest non-diva of the group. He's tough.
Agreed.
He's real. He's going to be very good. He's just a guaranteed not to be great. And do I want to take a receiver in the first round that I think is just going to be very good? He's very sure to be good, but he's also very sure to not be great.
I buy into maybe a little bit more bust with Cooper just because the route tree is so limited. And again, so much of his production was off the screens that I do think there's a little bit of a higher bust potential than people are letting on. But I don't disagree that he's
he's not a diva though. He's tough. I mean, he's going to block.
He's a pro. He's a pro.
Even if he doesn't
stay on the roster.
He's going to play. He's going to block. I mean, he's going to be if you want, he's going to contribute. Concepcion is reminds me of Christian Kirk. He's Christian Kirk. He's just years out later. He's got explosiveness. He's a big play guy on special teams, but the ball skills are just okay. And Denzel Boston's got great ball skills, but I don't think he's got the ability to separate. Separation is the number one trait I'm looking for in rookie receivers. He doesn't have that, so I can't draft him. So I don't like. That's the top 6 receivers. I mean, Carnell Tate's awesome. But
Carnell Tate's really, really good.
Yeah, I think
people are going to overthink the Carnell Tate thing, and one team's going to be smart enough to be like, nah, he's really, really good, and then he'll just be really, really good from the jump.
Oh, he's just really good. But I like that next group. I like Jeremy Bernard. I like Chris Bell a lot. I think Chris Bell is the best receiver in the group as far as at the top, because I think to me, Chris Bell is the guy. When I watch the film, you got to watch the receivers really closely, because it looks like it's all by design. But then when you go and watch them, they play the way they play. They play the way they play in college, and they play the way they play in the pros. It's like the way that Debo played for the Niners is the way that Debo played at South Carolina. And if you get what Chris Bell's doing out of Louisville, he is, I don't know what his 40 time is, but it's got to be great, because every play I see, he is just running away from the defense in the clear. And once he gets to 3 or 4 strides at 220 pounds, you can't bring him down. And then he's faster than he's timing. So I love Bernard, Bell, Ted Hurst.
I like Hurst.
I even like Antonio Williams a little bit, even though he's a good
Williams
route
is
runner.
not a good fit, but he's a really good player. He's going to be a really good slot receiver, a true slot receiver.
Here's the one I can't debate. This is the one that if he's there in the 4th round, I'm debating this one.
Okay.
Should the Niners take now in this mock, he's going in the 3rd round.
Oh no.
Should the Niners show interest or take Malachi Fields if Malachi Fields falls to the 4th round? He was supposed to be a 1st-round pick after he did well at the Senior Bowl, of course, because people overreacted to his catches, but then they overreacted to his 4.62, and in my opinion, they now are saying that he's falling and falling and falling. Every time I look down, he's lower and lower and lower. He's a second round
keep
pick.
Watching more and more and more of his tape.
Yeah.
It's not good.
he doesn't separate, but he does have great hands. There's no question about that. Where are you on Malachi?
I have him 76th overall. Listen,
that's 3rd round.
I think that Malachi Fields could be a possible, I don't want to blaspheme, but a possible Jawan Jennings replacement because he's tough and because he does have good hands and he does block his ass off and he seems to have it going on between the ears.
He's a big X though too.
He'd be a truly sacrificial X because you watch some of the tape and it's like, dude, help your quarterback out a little bit. But he's like, no, I'm going to run my route. And, there's just no bag there. And anything that he wins, it's sort of a box out. I would like him closer to the ball. I would like him in the slot as a power slot. And there's a lot of guys in this draft that are kind of like, oh, if you put him in the slot, they could be good. Well, that's not good because if they're the size to play X, but they can't play X, I'm not sure how many teams are going to be too interested in it. There's only one slot. No one's running the Cliff Kingsbury offense anymore. Like there's no 4 wide anymore. People are running 2 tight end sets more than ever. So if we're talking day 3, Malachi Fields, yes. If we're talking day 2, it's kind of a harder set. You have to really, really like him. I'm higher.
I don't like him
on
that
him.
much. I don't like him on day 2, but I do like him consideration in the 4th round.
I don't mind it because I do see some possibility of Jennings. I compared him to Cedric Tillman. I think Jake put down he's like a vague memory of George Pickens. Like if you've never seen George Pickens, but if someone were to describe him to you, you'd be like, oh, that's Malachi Fields. But then you watch the tape and you're like, this is not George Pickens. The blocking is huge. And I do think that is something that is not discussed enough, especially once we get out of the 1st round. Frankly, it's not discussed enough in the 1st round because you just get so enamored with this highlight tapes of the 1st round guys. But you got, if you're going to play wide receiver for Kyle Shanahan, like you have to block. You have to have a willingness to block. And if you have a willingness and a frame that can block, like that's going to matter. I don't think that they should be out at all on the possibility of Fields on day 3 just because, okay, a true backup X, you give him a year. The athleticism's pretty meh. But that's okay because it's about craft. You teach him a little something. Maybe you can improve that bag a little bit. But in the meantime, 3rd down comes on and you got him up against a linebacker and he can box out that linebacker or safety, particularly like nickel. He can win those little one-on-one things and you just kind of have to throw the ball in his general vicinity and he'll get it. That's what Jennings was best at. You could play him at X. Wasn't as much fun. So maybe Malachi Fields fits that, but it feels like such a narrow band that I don't think you can use a premium pick on it.
There's so many receivers. 3 sleeper receivers that I just love. And they're all listed, one at 213, one at 218, and the other at 348. Okay.
Damn.
Okay. And I like all 3 of these guys. Josh Cameron from Baylor.
Yeah.
Big receiver. Kind of doesn't, run after the catch. Looks like just a good luck tackling this guy. This guy is really physical.
Yeah. Fun to watch.
Kendrick Law from Kentucky. I love Kendrick Law. I loved his tape. I went into a rabbit hole on Kendrick Law. He's very explosive. 5'11",
slippery.
Yeah, I mean he's really, really underrated player. I think he might have been
he's a good player.
Running back, maybe.
Yeah.
He's interesting. And then I'm a gigantic fan of Dylan Bell from Georgia, and I just I see a lot of Debo. 6'1", 209. There's two traits about receivers that are really underrated. People never talk about this. The two most important traits in a receiver that never are talked about: how smart you are,
Yep,
and how tough you are.
Yeah, it's huge.
And Dylan Bell is both. He is really, really tough and really, really smart. And he got, he's like a SEC sleeper. It's amazing. I don't know if how he tested okay. He had a big vert, I think 39-inch vert, but he only ran just a basic 4 or 5 time, just a mediocre time.
Yeah.
6'1". They list him at 209, but I think he plays at more like 215. He's kind of a poor man's Debo. He can run all the gadget stuff. He's really smart. I think he was a high school quarterback, and he makes big plays for the Dogs. In the bigger the game, seems like the bigger the stakes. There's a little Jawan Jennings in him in that front. It's like this guy shows up when the money is on the table and produces.
Yeah. I didn't like his route running. I thought it was very loose, and that's the kind of thing where we're talking 6th, 7th round. It's ridiculous to say, but like when you don't produce, and then you look at the route running, you're like, maybe that's why you weren't producing. So how are you going to produce at the NFL level if you couldn't do it in the SEC? Immediate red flag for me is like Debo comps. There is but one Debo. We have tried and tried and tried, and we have failed and failed and failed.
It's like the Charles Barkley comparisons in the 90s.
Yeah,
he's like Charles Barkley.
Some guys are one of one, and we can appreciate the yak ability and all that, but like there is but one Debo, and there is but one George Kittle. Like there are certain players, and Amon-Ra St. Brown should be considered in this realm. I don't know about JSN just yet. Unbelievable player. I'm not in any way impugning him. Maybe that is replicable. But like everyone, I'm trying to be an Amon-Ra St. Brown guy. Like, dude, define what that is. Oh, I just want to have middling athleticism, but somehow always be open. Okay, so you're not a crisp route runner and you have questionable hands, but somehow you're going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, no, he's a one of one. And just be the one of you. And when when I read some of these scouting reports and stuff, when I watch it, and this is why I tried to get as many, and a lot of the guys late in the draft, it's tough because you start to get some opinions just sort of back of your mind, right? You've already heard about, you're watching this guy because someone mentioned him, or you're watching this guy because he showed up in a scouting report somewhere. It just came up in conversation or something. And so you come in with a bit of an anchor as to what he's supposed to be. And then you're like, I don't see that at all. Now you're comparing it to something that's not fair. I liked getting through 200 or so players without mock drafts, without, the beast or whatever, like without hearing anything from anybody, because 1, you find out you have some very different opinions. 2, you get some guys who, when these mock drafts start going, are day, 3, 4, and then, hey, look at that. They're first round picks now, like in that conversation. With Bell, I came to him very late. Dylan Bell came to him very late. And again, I heard the Debo. It's like, this guy's Debo-like. And you watch it and you're like, there's no Debo here. Like, this is not Debo. Like, he's 6 foot, 210. We're already not in Debo territory because Debo was playing at like 230 and it didn't produce in college. You can hold that against the Georgia offense. I think that's fair. But we don't have, do we have that same conversation about Zachariah Branch? Do we have that same, I guess I have that conversation when it pertains to Oscar Delp, but like
it is. Georgia did kind of use their guys in a screwy way. I will say that
I'm
Delp
not a fan
is a
of their
major
offense.
talent with 4.48 speed, and they never really threw it to him. And this guy's really dependable, Dylan Bell, and yet he only plays in like big drives and big games, and then they've got other guys. They sometimes gave away, runs to Cash Jones or whatever.
Yeah.
Why? They have like all these 5-star running backs. Why the hell would you ever?
But my point is this: like, when you watch Deebo
bizarre.
Samuel at South Carolina, Deebo Samuel was the son.
Oh, he was awesome. Yeah,
he was everything. He was their entire offense. And at some point, it would have been nice to see somebody who's compared to Deebo Samuel look like the team realized that guy's really good. The team that he was on. I don't care if it's Georgia, South Carolina, or Toledo.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's Debo. What I'm saying is you can use him to run the same gadget plays that you ran for Debo.
Yeah,
Which
to a
I don't
degree.
know that anybody they don't have a tough guy like that.
No, they don't have a wide back, and I do
Yeah.
think the emphasis should be on wide. Like, they don't have somebody who it's just like, just put the ball in his hands on a little, quick in and see what happens. They don't have that guy. That would be nice to have, but you also have Christian McCaffrey for whatever that's worth in this day and age. And the offense has evolved. Like, Debo Samuel was not as productive with Brock Purdy, because Brock Purdy doesn't run that offense. Brock Purdy wants to throw it to the outside. Brock Purdy wants to operate on timing. Jimmy Garoppolo wanted to see you, hit you. Like, you know who would have killed with Debo Samuel? Mac Jones. Because Mac Jones doesn't care if you're hitting your right depths and stuff. Mac Jones is a feel quarterback in the sense of, oh, we're just playing catch. If I see you, I'll hit you with the ball. Like, I can adjust my throw. Brock Purdy's a timing quarterback. And neither of these is the right way or the wrong way to do it. It's just different styles. You could throw 99 miles per hour, or you can throw 92. If you can get the guy out, it doesn't matter to me on the mound. But Debo was just like, I'm here, throw me the ball. I'm right over the middle. Jimmy, hit me. And Jimmy's like, I'm looking right at you the entire time. So the ball's coming your way. And they made things happen that way. Same thing with Kittle. He just did it from the opposite side of the field. Whereas, again, with Brock, he wants to have those deep developing routes. He wants to throw on timing. He wants to deliver it before you've come out of your break. Again, when we're talking about a guy who's not a good route runner, who catches the ball with his body, and who at no point at his time in Georgia, and we're talking about a 6th, 7th round prospect, so this is totally unfair to Dylan Bell, but like a 6th, 7th round prospect who at no point was like the man for even a game at Georgia. It's just, again,
I mean, I think he's more of an undrafted free agent, to be honest.
Now that's some fun. We can open up but like, and by the way, they don't even have a 6th or 7th round pick. Like, he could be a fun undrafted free agent. You never know.
Who makes the team? See, here's what I see with Dylan Bell. I see a guy who, you're right, there's some flaws there, but I see a guy that, unlike some of these receivers, is cool. I think this is a guy who's going to step in and actually be able to contribute. Where some of these guys, I think, are going to take time. It's going to take time,
right?
And
I'll give you
Niners that. Niners are going to rush, so they're looking for guys, somebody that can contribute right now. I want to get your thoughts on the running backs, but let's do our prize picks lineup. But before we get to, there it is. Thanks to our good friends at Habas Law. Omar Habas, Tarek Habas, and the good people at Habas Law. Omar Habas said recently, we meet people in the hardest moments of their lives, and it's on us to restore dignity and a financial future. So, I mean, when you're calling a personal injury attorney, usually something terrible has happened. There's traumatic brain injuries. Somebody's lost a limb, spinal cord damage, all this, you're skiing and all of a sudden, you're in a terrible accident. And your life is changed in a second. And that's usually, the situation. And then everything, of course, is on the line. And so you have to choose a law firm that understands, that everything is on the line. And that's Habas Law. They fight to make it right. Visit them online at habaslaw.com. Omar Habas is a California licensed attorney. Their offices are based here in Northern California. That includes the San Jose market. And we should tell you, past results don't guarantee future outcomes. But when you need a great attorney, you need to call a great attorney, and Habas Law absolutely is that. Omar and Tarek Habas are amazing. So thank you to Habas Law for sponsoring the Krug Show. Also, let's get to our prize picks lineup. We'll jump into our prize picks lineup for today. Prize picks is America's #1 sports picks app. And the reason I like it, it's simple. You're just picking more or less on player stats or even game outcomes, building your lineup, and you're in. No complicated stuff, just what you think is going to happen in the game. Use code HMA, play $5, get $50 in lineups instantly. That's right. Link is in the description, and we'll jump right into it. In fact, I'm going to save us some time because I already made the lineup. So
now we're talking.
Yeah, see,
this is my kind of service.
Yeah, so we're doing this thing. I don't want to say it's pro bono, but we're making. We got time. We got to make this. We got to make our. Right. We got to make hay. Okay, so we got that there. We got to move the screen. Let me move that screen around. There we go. Put us in the corner. There we go.
Okay.
Now we go put the banner on the board, and you can check it out for
Look at
yourselves.
all this.
Look at this. What we do here.
Hmm.
There it is. Now it all makes sense. Look at that. So that's our Prize Picks board, and this is our
optimistic.
This is our lineup that we're going with. We're going with a 3-pick power play, $20 to pay $120. Caleb Williams, more than 3,524.5 passing yards. Ashton Genty with a more than 974.5 rush yards, and Drake May more than 3,649.5 passing yards. And what I'm thinking here more than anything is just you've got players, young players who are getting better, getting surrounded by more talent, I think in all three cases as they go forward. When you get surrounded by more talent, your numbers tend to go up. So I'm just kind of playing that as an angle. If I go 3 for 3, $20 will pay me $120. So thank you, Prize Picks, for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. Use code HMA. And if you play $5, you're getting $50 instantly from Prize Picks, and they're fantastic. The other day, I was looking at a baseball, matchup, and sure enough, it was involving the Giants, and one of the pitchers had an injury. And I looked up at Prize Picks, and they immediately had adjusted it. I mean, it was like they were just on it. So
all over it.
Very cool, very cool. So thanks to Prize Picks for.
By the way, all of those players went over those numbers last year.
Yes. So you're really just asking.
You're just betting against injury. Yeah.
Replicate what they've already done.
Get that Damon Bruce shit off my screen.
What the heck happened there? Somebody broke in and ruined the show. No.
Yeah. Hey now. Not my stream.
That's that stream. I'm not going to say that. All right. Be careful, Krug. Be
partnerships,
careful. Krug. Here we go. We got people, partnerships, friends. We got sensitivities. I wanted to ask you about running back, because running back to me is an interesting spot for the 49ers. One, because there's been a lot of different rumors tied to the Niners with a bunch of these different guys. Now, Jeremiah Love's going to go in the top 5, we think. Jadarian Price, they're thinking, may go with the last pick in the first round of Seattle. If they made that pick, you're saying they want to trade back. They probably want to get both Jadarian Price after trading back. And that would be my guess. Mike Washington from Arkansas is going to go pretty high. They think probably round 2. The guy that I think actually you mentioned, but it wasn't until somebody else told me to check him out that I really looked at.
Jamari Taylor from Virginia?
No, Jonah Coleman. Were you talking Jonah Coleman one day?
No, I'm not a big Jonah Coleman guy, actually.
Oh, okay. So somebody was on here talking Jonah Coleman.
The analytics guys really like Jonah Coleman, and I get what they're talking about. And then you watch the tape, and you're like, nope, not for me.
Yeah, I mean, he's a between the tackles, one cut runner. I kind of like him because I kind of like the story. He's a Bay Area kid or a NorCal kid. He's from Stockton. He went to Lincoln High. And he's 5'8", 220. But he's definitely an inside runner. He's not a home run hitter. He's more of just like a guy that's just going to keep plowing between the tackles. And
he's a third down short yard. He's Sammy P. Ryan is who I compared him to.
Okay. I think he maybe has a little bit more explosiveness than P. Ryan.
I just did not find it. I couldn't find it.
He's definitely not for everybody. But so there's people that like him. There's a lot of people that think that Emmett Johnson is a great fit for the Niners because of his ability to catch the ball. I will say this, he's the toughest 200. This guy is, for 200 pounds, I mean, he basically weighs 200 pounds. He's pretty jacked for 200 pounds. I mean, this is the most impressive physique 200-pound guy I think I've ever seen. This guy's really jacked. I put on the, well, I mean, as far as you got to have some strength to you.
I get it.
This guy did every single drill at the combine. He took no plays off at Nebraska. He's a tough kid. So I'm just saying, even though a lot of people think he's a third down scat guy, I think he's more than that. Coach likes Katron Allen and says he's a good fit for Shanahan's system. He's very slow. Nick Singleton's very fast, and a lot of people think that he's a good fit because of that. I've heard people say that Claiborne would be a great outside zone runner. I've seen Le'Veon Moss. I've seen Eli Heidenreich. I've seen the Niners supposedly have interest in Jamari Taylor, who has what I would say maybe is the best contact balance in the class. I think his contact balance is off the charts.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Kalen Black is I've seen tied to the Niners because of his blocking ability. Jam Miller because of his blocking. But I mean, there's a lot of different runners. And to me, there's some interesting guys. You know, I like Kajon Owens from FIU. I really like Terrion Stewart, the short little Vatek runner. And I love Jamal Haynes from Georgia Tech as just like, you know, day 3 undrafted guys. And I even kind of like the guy. I like Davin Booth from Mississippi State. And I like Barika Pinu from North Dakota State. So there are some interesting backs here. But what do you think, Dieter? Is there a day 3? Niners are not going to go running back until the 4th round. But is there a running back that you see as a good fit for them? Because something tells me if the right guy's there, they're going to go with him. Who is that right guy?
There is, to answer your question bluntly, I don't see one. I really don't. I'm kind of in on Le'Veon Moss just as a concept. Just kind of big. It's kind of, just kind of Jordan Mason-y, if that makes any sense. I hate this running back class. I love running backs. They're my favorite position. They're easy to evaluate. You know, the stats mean something. It's in your face. You know, for as hard as safeties are to evaluate, for as hard as like day 3 corners are to evaluate, as hard as wide receiver, how detailed you have to be in evaluating wide receivers, like running backs, like two games, you got it. Like I get it. I understand what's going on here. And this class, and so that usually leads me to having like 4 or 5 guys where I'm like, hell yeah, let's do this. Is awesome. Like I can find you a day 6 guy, and I'm gonna love him like Larry loves day 6, you know, round 6 guys.
Right.
I hate this class. No, I don't feel a thing for any of them. Nothing. I feel nothing towards these running backs. So you could throw. There's a bunch of guys, and they're all just in a big pile of whatever. Not one of them stands out to me. Even Claiborne, the one guy who I thought I was feeling something towards, way too many fumbles. Can't overdo it. But when we're talking about like Washington, whose tape was just,
he had 10 fumbles career.
So meh, Mike Washington's tape at Arkansas. And you're like, okay, so we're just going on spec. Like, cool. That doesn't really work for me at running back. That's the most. It's the same thing with linebacker. Like, you can't give me a linebacker who's got all these incredible traits and then doesn't play good linebacker. Like, that's a feel position. That's a toughness position. That's a vision position. I feel nothing towards this class. So if I had to go with somebody on day 3, give me Le'Veon Moss, because I feel like, you know, speedy tank is worthwhile.
What do you think of Adam Randall, the Clemson converted wide receiver? And, you know, he doesn't have good hands, which is why they took him away from being a wide receiver, but he's 230 pounds.
Yeah, he's a thick boy. I don't see anything really other than his weight. Fun player. He's fun to look at. It looks different. That's interesting enough. You can maybe like talk yourself into being like a really slow Cordell or Patterson. Like, that just doesn't do it for me.
How about the Navy kid Heidenreich? Everybody loves
too small.
Yeah, he's very. They're saying he's McCaffrey, but he's 198 pounds.
Yeah,
McCaffrey's like 210, isn't he? Or 215?
Makes no sense to me. Again, it's kind of like the Devo thing. Like, what are we talking about? You can't just
What about Katron Allen? Where are you on Katron Allen? Because Cosell likes Katron Allen, and Cosell knows a little bit more than obviously the average.
Yeah, no, and
he's 220 pounds. He's always been this is a tough kid. I will say this about Katron Allen. It's like Singleton is the guy with the speed and the impressive stats, but Allen was the guy that actually ran for the first downs. I mean, I watched Penn State. This was the guy that ran for the first downs. I mean, this is their better guy. I mean, this was their more useful guy. I don't know. Singleton's probably the better athlete and big, you know, he's got more explosion, but this guy.
But who do they trust?
This was the better runner, right?
Yeah. No, he's the better running back, at least in my eyes. I think Jake actually disagrees with that.
Really?
Yeah, I think Jake had him higher. I think, Jake had Singleton higher, but Jake's always more of a spec guy, and I'm more of a tape guy when it kind of gets down to brass tacks. Good vision on Allen. That matters. Yeah, he's fine. He's fine. The problem is, I try to always, I view it best with like a player comp, and even if that's like love children. And it was kind of Kareem Hunt, not really Le'Veon Bell. So like, I want to say nice things. I want to give him a very good comp, but even then, I'm like, yeah, kinda, maybe. I'm equivocating on a comp, so it's all pretty meh. But I think he'll be a solid enough pro because he gives you enough kind of that first 10 yards, good vision, good cutter, finishes through contact. He'll be fine. But there is so many running back 2s to running back 3s in this class that don't feel like you will ever make the jump to like, oh, you just give them enough reps, actually, they could be a 1. Like there's no Tyrone Tracy in this class where he's probably not a 1, but you could have him as a 1 for 6-7 weeks and everyone's going to have to pick him up in fantasy football. Like maybe that's how we should just view it. Who on day 2 and 3 are you like, oh, I'm going to really want to draft him in fantasy football this year? Right now, none. I mean, we'll see once they get onto teams and stuff, but like none. There's not one of these guys that I'm like, oh, you put him in the right system with he'll get 50-50 coming out. And then, halfway through the season, they're going to be like, this is our guy. Usually there's a day 3, certainly day 2 pick. There's a couple of them that go that way. Nothing. And Jadarian Price is frankly getting overrated, in my opinion, because he's so clearly the second best running back in this class to an extremely good one in Love, who might be the best player in this class. I don't have him ranked there. I have him 7th, but like Jake has him 2, and that's fair. Like that, he is clearly one of the few blue chips in this class. But like Price, with his pop, his one cut and go, very good player. But because there's no other good running backs in this class, he's just created this own tier to himself. And he's going to get drafted probably 20 picks, 30 picks before he should, because teams are like, if we don't take him, like there is no alternative. And that's the vibe I've gotten in conversations. But I'll be honest with this, Lair. When I'm talking to teams and scouts and people who are very much in the know on these, like running backs don't come up in conversation. No one's ever like, what do you think about this guy? You're the only one who's asked me that in the last 2 weeks. Like, what do you think about this running back? Because no one feels anything towards this class, or at least I don't feel anything towards this class enough for them to be like, maybe we should talk about it. Like it is dull, which means that like 3 guys on day 3 are going to end up being, future Hall of Fame players.
I think I don't know that there's Hall of Famers, but I definitely think there's contributors here. The guy that to me makes the most sense for the Niners is Jamal Haynes, because Jamal Haynes is a big time athlete, and he's put on some weight. And he still carries that weight great, and he catches the ball well, and he's strong, and smart, and he can block. And to me, this he's little. He's going to be there on day 3, but he's tough. And to me, that's a 207 pound. If he's 190, and that's what he was at G-Tech, I was like, it's a little too small. But the fact that he put on 17 pounds and he still worked out great. I like him. I also I like Faison from South Carolina. I kind of like Robert Henry from Texas San Antonio. There's a couple guys. Jam Miller.
You could talk me into Henry. I've tried really hard to find Miller. My concern in
Jam Miller's more. He's fast. He's powerful. He's a great blocker, and he's got some explosive ability. He's not a pure runner, great instincts, but he's a stonewall blocker though. And he's jacked. He's strong. So I mean, this guy can really pancake and blitzers. And if you're Brock Purdy, you got Brock Purdy, man. You need that back that's going to step up in the lane and just smoke the defender. And Jam will do that. So he can catch it. So he can catch it out of the backfield. He's got 4.4 speed, and he'll stonewall the blitzer. I mean, those are some of the things that Bobby T needs to see before you get past the gateway to the field.
But enough about Isaac Orendo. Yeah, in that case, like Adam Randall from Clemson,
That's good.
Emmett Johnson, like they make sense because they are really good pass blockers, and there's a little something there. Randall's just such a bizarre player. He's so big.
It is a thin
kinda
group
dig
though,
it.
when you look at all these names. You know, the one guy that's really interesting on day 3 that, you know, I don't know if I would, I'm not sure. Virginia Union Curtis Allen is got
I have no opinion on him.
unbelievable numbers. And yet it's at Virginia Union. And if you look at his film, he doesn't look like a big time
Virginia
player.
Union, like Ben Wallace. Did he go to Virginia Union?
Charles Oakley.
Oh, okay. Ben Wallace went to, where did he go to
Ben
college?
Wallace went to,
he was at Virginia Union. Hey, look at that. I still got it.
oh, okay.
Virginia Union, 94 to 96. The headband.
There you go. Both went to Virginia Union. The Oak Tree definitely went there.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
Yeah, he was. But this kid, Curtis Allen, is from Petersburg, Virginia, and he played for Virginia Union, and he was awesome. And like his numbers are awesome. But you know, it's Virginia Union, and when you watch when I watch the film, it's like he runs upright. He doesn't run with power.
It was on a VHS.
Yeah, it was on a Betamax, and yeah.
They sent it to you on reels.
His agent was faxing it over.
Yeah. Like my thing is like, if you're being talked about as an undrafted free agent in this class, that's not good. Now you can flip it the other way and be like, there's so little going on that maybe the undrafted free agents are just as good. But like, if you can't separate yourself in this running back class where there's like 2 good ones, like 2 overtly good ones, and the second one is being overrated, like a Jamal Haynes. Like, why did his production go down for 3 straight years if he's so good? Like,
usage.
And by the way, Georgia Tech went up. So he plays less, Georgia Tech plays better. Now, I don't think there's a direct correlation there, but it is an interesting conflation, no?
They just have better guys. They have more guys. But I mean, this guy's a hell of a player.
I think that might be the evaluation for Mr. Haynes come draft day.
I really like him, and I got good track record with this.
Looks good without a shirt on. I'll give him that.
Give me your boldest take in the draft. What's your boldest take? What's your take that? Because I mean, you had one the other day. You didn't have Lee Hunter drafted, and
that was hot. That was hot.
Somebody else had him in the second round.
Yeah.
Give me your boldest take outside of Lee Hunter is not going to get drafted. Do you have a super
2 different
bold
routes?
one?
Oh no, I do. I'm just wondering if I want to share it.
It's that bold.
Yeah, I think Ty Simpson might be a top 10 pick in this draft.
You think he's worthy, or you think somebody's going to do
Never
that?
said that. I think someone's going to do it.
Gotcha.
I think Arizona's going to do it.
So somebody's going to flinch. In other words, on Ty Simpson.
I think
1-year starter, really a half-year starter.
I think that Ty Simpson being talked about on ESPN ad nauseum because they have nothing else to do is creating just a certain level of conversation about him. And I think the Rams at 13 with a plaything pick is scaring a lot of teams that might be Ty Simpson curious. And I think it is in particular. So how about this? I know that Arizona has called Seattle about 32 and that there might be a deal ready to go so that they can get Simpson at 32. That was arranged a while back, like maybe even a month ago, that like the groundwork's there. Should things pass out, like we're good to go on that, which is a big deal. Like you're trading in division for a quarterback, but like Seahawks got to do what they don't fear anybody. So I think there's going to have to be another sort of trade.
If they really want him, though, come on, you're going to.
They got to go above. They got to go above 13 to get him. I think is what they think.
Of 13, I was going to say in front of Houston because I think Houston's questioning C.J. Stroud. Also, Miami picks 30. Miami picks 30 though.
I don't know.
Who the hell's Miami's quarterback?
You mean the guy that they just signed, Willis?
Right, but I mean,
Their
come on.
their quarterback is Arch Manning next year. Like they're rebuilding an entire team so that they can be in that. Same thing with the Jets. Like there's some concern with Jets. I think are 16th. There's some concern that they could take Ty Simpson and try it for a year, and if it doesn't work out, whatever, because they have so many picks. There's some thought that there's the Rams thing is just looming over everything. No one knows what the Rams are going to do at 13. They could go in a bunch of different directions, and their like of what Ty Simpson does is documented. So, and I think vetted. I don't think that the Rams let stuff out that they
You
don't
think that Ty Simpson may go 13?
I think he's going to go above 13. I think that the Rams have made it pretty clear that they could take Ty Simpson at 13, and that someone who's going to have to get. I just think that there's more love for Ty Simpson than I would have ever given him. That's my hot take. That Ty Simpson goes top 10.
Well, he had a great year. There's no question. It was a great year. 28 touchdowns, 5 picks.
He's my like third, fourth quarterback. Like I just don't get it, but it doesn't matter what I get.
He's just a fresh-faced kid. That's all. He's a fresh-faced kid who came out of Bama. He's a sharp kid, but I mean, he played well at the early part of the year. They made adjustments. Then he sucked. He struggled after that, and it's like did nobody notice that he was struggling? I mean, he looked good early, but he didn't look good late. But you know what? It's funny because Nussmeier I like more, and Nussmeier looked bad early and late, and so
there's a lot of love. There's a lot of love for Nussmeier, but not like first round love.
Yeah,
like, I
he's
don't
got
think
the small hands, so I can't go with the small hands. But he is a son of a coach, or son of a scout, right? I guess, or whatever it is. So he's a football family guy, and he does have good movement in the pocket, and he can kind of zing it around a little bit. He's not a unbelievable. He's not an unbelievable thrower, but you know what? The ball comes out, and he seems like he actually looked pretty good, I thought, at the Senior Bowl, and I was shocked because he looked so bad against Florida. I was there against Florida. He looked terrible. We could not keep drives alive at all against a Gator defense. It was okay, nothing more.
Yeah.
And so somehow he
listen.
Whoever LSU's offensive coordinator is, that guy should just quit.
Well, they all got fired. So
terrible.
Again, I don't have Ty Simpson in my top 100. So, but it doesn't matter what I have. It matters what I think. If a bold take can't hold it against me, but if it happens, I get to take a victory lap. Ty Simpson, top 10.
Top 10. Wow. Okay. That's bold. That's very bold.
I mean, I can give you more detail on what I think is going down.
Go ahead, please do.
I think Kansas City and Arizona are going to trade first round picks, and I think Arizona's going to move down to 9.
I think Kansas City's moving up to 3, but you think they're moving up to take a tackle. I think they're moving up for Ruben Bain.
I have not heard that smoke. I think that Ruben. Here's another fun one.
I mean, who's their replacement for Chris Jones? I mean, they got to have somebody up front.
I think that the 3 best players in this draft might go 6, 7, 8. And I'm not even sure on 8, but it might. I think I was just doing it.
Who do you like? Who do you think are the best players?
I think the 3 best players in this draft are Carnell Tate, Josh Downs, and Bain. And I think that they could go 6, 7, 8. That's with a million permutations, and this is operating on my thing. I'm giving away tomorrow, the stream that we're doing. But the Ty Simpson thing, the amount of conversation about Ty Simpson should have died by now, and it hasn't. And I'm not talking about ESPN. I'm just talking about, text fingers. There are teams that clearly think that he's the truth. And if you think that, you and I were both Michael Penix guys, but there were a lot of people out there who thought he was like a second-round pick. Well, they got taken 8th because it just takes one team to think it's the truth. And that team can be spurred on to actually make that pick because they think, actually, this guy thinks that he's the truth too. And if we don't take him, they're going to take him, and he's going to be in our division. And if Arizona thinks that Ty Simpson is as good as at least their head coach thinks that he is, they can't wait. They can't find out if the Rams take him or not at 13. So the Rams have at least made it clear that they are willing to, which means that Arizona has to be ready to pull the trigger. And they're not going to do it at 3, but 9 for them, a lot more palatable. That's the hot take.
I like it. I like it. Where did you have Caleb Banks in this thing? To me, he's a major wild card because Caleb
The
Banks
defensive
has
tackle out of Florida.
Yeah, he's 6'6", 330. He had a foot problem, but then he went to the Senior Bowl and he wrecked shop.
Yeah, I had him 54.
Tankathon has him at 31.
Listen,
You think he's going in round 2 that deep in round 2? Wow.
The foot thing's a real issue. He had a foot thing beforehand, and then he gets another foot thing, and it's like, dude, I don't know. Maybe Bill Walton's voice is in the back of my head, like, big man, when the feet goes, it all goes.
I know. He left by that motto. The combine, he said his cleats were agitating him. What?
That seems bad.
That's not good.
Those are the thing that you need. Those are the one thing that touch the ground. Listen, the other thing about Banks, and I know this is a concern, is that he can't seem to actually tackle anybody. He's everywhere. He is omnipresent.
He made 6 tackles last year.
Just 6? That doesn't seem like a lot. He just doesn't. He doesn't seem to tackle anybody. So if you run into him, that's a real problem. And you will run into him because he is in the backfield. He's making stuff happen. He is a disruptor. But is he a finisher? And with the foot thing and that, it just, you have to buy yourself some cushion as a team if you're going to take him, because he is such a boom. He is such a bust. He might be the single biggest boom or bust player. He could be the best player in this draft. Like that is not an obscene statement. Like, it's probably not going to happen, but he has the talent and the ability and the size. They don't make people like this, where he could be 3 years from now. You're like, oh my God, Caleb Banks. He's like the Jordan Davis or Chris Jones, or like, he's just unbelievable. What, like, perennial Pro Bowler, all pro caliber player, like the singular force on a winning team. He could also be Javon Kinlaw. Like, it's the same. So if you take him at 15, you're going to look like an asshole half the time. And if you wait and you take him in the second round, you're like, yeah, it's a second round pick. Kind of like with Alfred Collins, except with way more upside and way more downside. So that I when I was doing the big board, I'm like, he has to be around 50. Just around the 50th spot, because again, the bust is such busting. Like, it sounds hilarious, but like, the red flags are so red. They are deep crimson. But the green, the stuff that you like, it's so much better than anybody else's. Like, he makes Caden McDonald, who I think can go top 20 in this draft. I don't think he will, but I think he could. He makes Caden McDonald look pedestrian. Caden McDonald's really, really good. And like, anyone who gets him is going to feel really solid about it because he has a very high floor.
It's funny you said that, because Tankathon has the 49ers in their today mock draft taking Caden McDonald at 27.
Yeah, why not? I mean, if you could take Christian Miller there, you could definitely. Caden McDonald's better than him.
Caden McDonald's a better run defender, but Christian Miller has way more ability to pass rush. Caden McDonald's is going to be
theoretically. That's the other thing. I mean, you want to play the
run stuffer. I mean, Caden McDonald, I don't think has the upside to be a pass rusher. I'm pretty sure Christian Miller's going to be better as a pass rusher than he's been thus far. I hear what you're saying, though. Christian Miller had 1.5 sacks this year, and Caden McDonald had 3, and Caden McDonald is probably the preeminent run stuffer.
And my goodness, how bad would it be to just get somebody who always stops the run? Those guys get paid a lot of money, but I also see a lot of twitch, and he's also surrounded by an unbelievable defense that's going to have like 5 guys taken before him, even if he goes in the first round. I mean, it's hyperbole, but not that much. I mean, there's going to be 3 guys certainly taken before him, and I think McDonald. You take away some of the responsibility of just clog this up and you let him get into the backfield. I think there's enough twitch there that his best football is yet to come. But
he's
buying the floor.
He is so strong. I'll tell you my hot take or bold take in this draft is I really think when you really look back at this draft 3 years down the line, 4 years down the line, the second round is going to be better than the first round. And I know that sounds crazy, but look who, I mean, these are the guys listed in the second round that I think are going off. Omar Cooper, very solid. Christian Miller, very solid. Ian Archer, I think, can be very good.
What mock draft are you looking at? Ian Archer's not getting out of the top 25.
38. I'm looking at Tankathon right now.
Oh, I mean, well, they are.
Whatever. I mean, I'm just looking
I like
at whatever.
Tankathon. I like Tankathon. They do wonderful stuff. Tankathon, I love you. You
It's
do
all
great
guesswork.
stuff.
I mean,
but like,
he could go anywhere. But I'm just saying Chris Johnson, they have at 39.
Oh,
Chris Johnson is going to be a fantastic NFL player.
You should take him at 27. By the way,
that would be a very safe pick.
Just do
it.
The
Niners are looking for great players. I mean, okay, once again, what my philosophy is, and I've always believed this, if you can wed great physical traits with great collegiate production, you have great film and you have great traits. That's the guy to draft over and over and over again. If you always draft guys who are very productive in college, who also have great traits and pro traits, they're not like small or short. And Chris Johnson is that. He was a great player at San Diego State. He's 6 feet and change, 195 pounds.
He's great special teamer. He wanted to play special teams.
He's a shutdown corner. He would be their number one corner. He's better than Lenore. He's better than Stout. He's better than Renardo. He's bigger. He's a better player than those guys. He's a more accomplished player than those guys.
I remember going through, we assemble a list throughout the year, and I think Johnson was somewhere in the 200s when we just kind of drop guys in and go through, bunch of databases and kind of amalgamate it just so that we have a starting list. But the starting list is all from beginning of the season, Senior Bowl roster, East-West Shrine Game rosters, and we just have this list. And we just start working off of it. And Johnson was one of the first guys that I scouted for whatever reason. You just picked it at random. And I remember watching the tape and I'm like, oh, fuck, this guy might be the best corner in this draft. Now, I do think Delane is better than him. Johnson's my second corner.
Delane's fantastic.
Delane is frighteningly, there's something
really
off about, I don't know how to explain it, but Delane should go top 10. He's a wonderful football player. There's something, it's too easy for him. There's something I can't quite put my finger on where I'm like, there's a bust potential there that I just can't quite explain. It's illogical. It's a gut thing. I think he'll be great. I really do. But there's something that's like, why does it look so easy for him? That's strange.
His body control and his ability to mirror is just unbelievable.
It's really, really frightening. Johnson is right behind him on that. And Johnson plays with a little more heft. He plays with a little bit more pop. He played special teams. The competition level is not the same as it is when you're in the SEC, but man, nobody in the Mountain West was throwing on him. Nobody when he played good teams was throwing on him. The Cal tape is unbelievable. So I remember watching Johnson early and being like, oh, damn, this is going to be hard because this guy might be the second. I had him as the number one quarter until I got into the Mansour Delane tape earnestly. Johnson's incredible. I like him more than both of the Tennessee guys. I like him more than Aviant Terrell. I know Jake's not going to appreciate that take, but I do.
Where do you have Pons?
I think Pons is going to be a really special player, but I view him as slot only.
He never played the slot. He played outside.
I think he's just going to be.
He
a
wants to play
slot.
outside. He's an interesting guy. I mean, I think he's better than Upton Stout.
He is.
And Upton Stout was the best 49er defender, in my opinion, last year. I thought he was the best.
He's really good.
Athleticism. I love Pons. If they could get Pons, I'd go for it because you know what? He's so safe. He's going to be damn good.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Couple last thoughts and we'll get out of here. Let's hit our supers. We've got new members here. We've got Craig Lee 301 has become a YouTube member. We always give him a little clap.
Hey, yeah.
Thank you, Craig. And we got Craig over here. He's also become a YouTube member. Looks like on both channels, possibly. There you go, Craig. Welcome aboard.
He immediately aborted on my Ty Simpson take, and then we brought him back in with Chris Johnson. Who's to say?
Yeah, you never know. Chriso says, did you see Lynch scratch his head and look down when Grant asked him about taking an edge in round 1? He can't lie. So obvious it's edge in round 1. Well, I mean, you should
put your money where your mouth is there.
Yeah. I mean, the
so
betting
obvious.
favorite is offensive line. The betting favorite's offensive line right now. I do think John sometimes has some tells,
That's not one of them.
I don't know that I got that. I was sitting there looking at him, but I didn't necessarily get that.
I don't know how to put this nicely. I think that's most people's general reaction to being asked a question by Grant. You're kind of
Caught off guard.
is this a trap in some way? You got to take a beat. What are you trying? What are you trying?
Who's your favorite edge guy? Who's your favorite edge?
I mean, Ruben Bain. If we're talking 27,
it could just be overall value too. It could be any. I don't care.
Kieran Crawford, Auburn, take him. I love Kieran Crawford. I think that he's going to be. I think he's going to come out looking better than damn near anybody. People talk about David Bailey. Like, listen, I remember scouting David Bailey last year. He was very late in the process at Stanford, and I'm like, I think that this guy's like a second, third round player. Like, this is a good pass rusher. Yeah, it doesn't really stand up against the run, whatever. And then you put him on a team that people watch in Texas Tech, and for good reason, great team. And he kind of does the same stuff, but with legitimately awesome production and this and that. And it's like top 5, and I'm like, okay. Now, to be fair, I'm not sure he goes top 5. There's some question on if he goes even top 10. If he doesn't get picked in the top like 3 or 4, he could slip significantly. But
you're talking about Bailey. Bailey's pretty clean. I think he's going to go pretty high. But I mean,
I think he'll go high.
There's not a gigantic divide between Kieran Crawford and Bailey. There's not.
No, there isn't. I have him 67th overall on my board. I like Romello Height more than most, but I'm just convinced that Kieran Crawford's going to show up. They're actually going to play him at defensive end for the first time in his career, and it's going to be like, oh, damn, this guy's got a tremendous amount of bend and crazy explosion off the ball and, like, the arms, it's good handwork and this and that. And it's like, man, that was some weird tape at Auburn where they kept dropping him back to linebacker off the line repeatedly because DJ Durkin should be tried for crimes at The Hague, where it's like, hey, let's put Kendrick Falk, our best pass rusher, at nose guard taking on triple teams. And then let's take our second best edge rusher. Both of these guys, by the way, first round talents as edge rushers. Maybe second round talents with Crawford. And let's have him just drop to middle linebacker every snap. It's like, okay, yeah, DJ, I can see why they didn't want you for that job and why you were immediately fired when you finally bring in a competent head coach to Auburn who will be good down the stretch. But yeah, Kieran Crawford, if I had to kind of put a stamp on like this guy's going to outperform his draft position, Kieran Crawford through and through. Not a lot of difference. Like, I prefer Kieran Crawford straight up to TJ Parker. I would rather have Kieran Crawford on my team than TJ Parker, and you can get them like 75 picks apart. So yeah, Kieran Crawford.
That's a good one. I'll tell you, give you a bold take. I kind of like Fano's brother as a rusher.
Yeah, actually, I have heard that from a couple of people that Fano's
Logan Fano,
that he should get drafted too. Yeah,
he's not bad,
I don't have a deep understanding of him, but I've heard that name pop up a little. Logan Fano.
The other guy I wanted to get your thoughts on. Have you seen the edge rusher from NC State, Sloan?
Yes, unbelievable RAS score, right?
Yes, Sion Sloan, but it's actually pronounced something else.
Terrible football player. Unbelievable athlete. I wanted to so bad.
He's from Rockland. He's a Bay Area kid. He's NorCal guy.
I'm sorry to crap
academic
on a Bay Area
all
kid.
Mountain West.
That's great.
You don't like him?
Great undrafted free agent.
Second team all Mountain West last year.
At NC State?
At all Mountain West in 2024, I should say.
Yeah. No, there's a reason he got up to NC State.
Year.
Then he got up against ACC competition, which is pretty meddling, and it was not impressive. Yeah, I watched him last week.
He's a special teamer, huh?
I'm like, ooh, boy.
He went to SF City.
I wanted to like him. I did. I hope they bring him in as an undrafted free agent. That's my take.
The guy that I like is Michael Heldman from Central Michigan. Have you seen him at all? 6'4", 260, comes flying off the edge. A lot of motor. He's not natural. He's not a natural rusher.
Now I gotta go into the deep database. Hold on.
I
don't have a draft. We don't have a draftable grade on him. I'll tell you that right now. Oh, and now I got a new computer, so now it's like, do you really want to open Notion? No. You know what? I don't. I don't have an opinion on this man. Maybe I did at some point, but I'm not going to find it right now.
No problem. Two last ones I got to get your thoughts on. Anthony Lucas, USC. Now, this was
weird.
This was a 5-star guy, and if you look at him on the hoof, you sit there and go, wait a second. this guy looks like a first-round draft choice. And if you watch his film, he is a crazy athlete. He was 6'5", 285. He went to Chaparral High School in Scottsdale. He was a 5-star. He went to A&M out of Chaparral, transferred to SC. You can look at this kid and you can see, I mean, he's also really smart. He was on the fall academic honor roll. So he's a smart kid. He's a 6'5", 285 defensive lineman who was a 5-star. He's crazy athletic. He's never really put it together. But he's an interesting guy, and they list him here at 151 overall. Somebody's going to take a flyer on this guy because he's got absolutely an NFL body. Did you guys do a report on Lucas at all?
Oh, did we? One, Jake and I don't agree on everything, and this year it doesn't feel like we agreed on much. We both hate watching USC tape. We cannot stand Lincoln Riley. We cannot stand his coaching. The plans that they have can barely be categorized as plans. Here's what I wrote on him. He could do a little bit of everything. He did a whole lot of nothing. Upside day 3 flyer for a team willing to put in a redshirt year or two. He's going to make the league on Twitch size and the fact that he improved in 2025. I'm actually fairly bullish. Jake does not like him at all. He can play with some punch. He's got an impressive first step. It's good clay. I compared him to Danico Autry.
He's made a lot of money in the NFL.
And you know what? That's the best case scenario. And the worst case scenario is that this guy has no flipping idea what he's doing out there. And you're going to have to bet on the fact that that's USC's fault and not his. Which, you know what? Frankly, I'll bet on Anthony Lucas before I bet on USC. I have no dog in the USC fight. I don't care about UCLA. I don't care about UC. I don't care about Notre Dame. I really don't. I hate watching USC tape. They are so poorly coached that, you know what? Just on principle, someone should take Anthony Lucas somewhere in the 5th or the 6th round and watch him turn out to be really damn good because, again, USC. I'll bet on Anthony Lucas over USC, which is to say that I'll give him just an ounce of the benefit of the doubt, whereas USC gets none.
Bigger future. Anthony Richardson at quarterback. Taylon Green at quarterback.
Anthony Richardson. Taylon Green.
I didn't take very long. You didn't have to think about that.
Yeah, because Taylon Green can't play quarterback. There's a reason that he got benched at Arkansas last year for a quarterback who, and I mean this in the purest of forms, sucked so bad. There's no world in which you watch, I can't even remember his name, I apologize. You watch this Arkansas backup quarterback who is just spraying it with no arm strength, no accuracy, just spraying this thing all around, completing like 2 out of every 7 passes. And it's like, you bench Taylon Green for that guy? What's going on in practice where that was a decision that you're like, we should do this? Here's the thing I'll say about Taylon Green. There is a path for him to stay in the NFL for a long time. It is a path that is very near and dear to my heart. It is called the Brad Smith path. And the Brad Smith path.
Play tight end, play receiver.
Play tight end, play receiver, play special, be a special teams ace, be the Slater from the Patriots of whichever team gets you, because he certainly is an unbelievable athlete. He is clearly playing the wrong sport and he is playing the wrong position. We don't do this anymore, and maybe this is for the best, maybe it's for the worst, but at what point are we going to get back to saying this guy can't play quarterback, we should play him at a different position? Like, I know that we did that with Lamar Jackson for probably intrinsically racist reasons. That was wrong and stupid because clearly that guy can play quarterback. He won the goddamn Heisman Trophy and is one of the great college players we've ever seen, and then won an MVP in the NFL. So, like, yes, that was dumb. The overcorrection to now we're like, oh, Taylon Green can play quarterback. He couldn't play quarterback at Arkansas last year. How the hell's he going to play quarterback at the NFL level? Oh, he's athletic. We want him back. No, put him at wide receiver, put him at running back, teach him to play corner, put him anywhere but quarterback, and he actually might have an NFL career. But, we so overcorrected, which it needed to be corrected, but we so overcorrected now that Taylon Green is still considered a quarterback when literally he could be anything other than that.
If the 49ers,
give me Richardson, who at least can,
you're going with Richardson. Yeah, Richardson is going to be interesting. Somebody's going to make a move on Richardson. 49ers have 4 picks in the 4th round. There's talk that Kayvon Thibodeau, Alex Highsmith, and Nick Herbig all potentially could be available for a 4th-round pick.
Yeah.
If all 3 of those guys are available, Thibodeau, Highsmith, and Nick Herbig, for a 4th-round pick, you can get any of those guys. You say no to all 3, or is there one you like more than the other?
I'll tell you right now, the amount of times that I'm watching guys in this draft at defensive end, this is supposedly such a great defensive end class, and I'm like, I don't know, best case scenario, Nick Herbig. It was like 7 of them where I'm like, this guy could be like a Nick Herbig if everything works out, which is to say situational pass rusher, undersized, will try maybe, but can't really do it against the run. So you're telling me that you could take one of these guys who in the best case scenario might be a Nick Herbig, and in the worst case scenario probably won't be in the league for a second contract, or I can just have Nick Herbig. I'll take Nick Herbig.
Seriously. Probably Nick Herbig said you could do a whole lot worse. He's
a good player. And again, the Niners don't need somebody on 1st and 2nd down. Now, Herbig is probably over indexing on that because I think the reason he's tradable is because he's going to be expensive. And I don't think the Steelers are interested in making him expensive because he was very productive.
Right.
But if we're just going to go 1 year, I mean, legitimately, like, I don't think Malachi Lawrence is good enough. He's being talked about as a possible 1st-round pick. I have a 3rd-round grade on him. He's 88th overall.
The shoulder surgeries are a concern to me.
None of these guys can stand up against the run. R. Mason Thomas is barely a top 100 player for me.
240 pounds with short arms.
What are we talking about? So, yeah.
It's kind of stiff, actually, too.
Totally. Like, Romello Height, I compared him to, like, Nick Herbig, even though he's a little bit bigger. So,
Romello Height's a little bit more like a Spider-Man. You know, he's got some ability to contort his body to use his hands and get around edge rushers.
Yeah. I like him. I like Romello Height more than most. Flash is very high level. Pass rushing is limited, if not at all disqualifying, but he's really good at what he's great at. It's very Nick Herbig-y. So I think I would rather just have Nick Herbig for a year than the gamble on getting Romello Height turning into Nick Herbig for 3 or 4. That's where I'm at.
Big Tone, YouTube member. Thank you, Big Tone, for coming aboard. We got this one from Stefan. Would you be upset if we didn't draft a single player on defense, then sign Joey Bosa on a veteran safety? Yes. Yeah, they'd have to. Come on. No players on defense.
This is not a good enough offensive draft for that to happen.
I mean, I think this is a draft defense in the first part of the draft, and go for offensive guys that you like.
Yeah.
In day 3, I think,
because it's total flyers there.
Yeah, there's good receivers in day 3.
Also, like, they're probably going veteran safety anyway. They could take a safety in this class. The safety class is like, it's downs.
What do you like, Halsey?
Well, I like the 1st-rounders. I'm not the biggest fan of the Toledo kid. If I had to go deep on it, Wisniewski in like the 4th round. Like, I'm not
He's not a very physical player.
Yeah, but he sees it. He really sees it.
He sees it. He definitely was going to pick off some passes.
Lewis Moore in the 3rd round is a good player.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that they should go. I don't think they should go safety in the 1st round at 27. I don't think any of them are going to be there at 27. I think Emmanuel or
I wanted to ask Lynch today. What you played safety? Would you rather have? Is the future at safety Bud Clark, where these guys are 185 pounds, super linear, but they've got great ball skills? Or is the future at safety more like an AJ Halsey, who's kind of thicker? Or, is the future at safety kind of like a Kilgore, where you're talking about a guy who doesn't really have feel, but he's got the ability to physically cover as a corner, and then he really hits hard like a linebacker. So, I mean, it's like, what is the future of safety? I'd be very interested to know what John, who played the position, like if John was in the NFL right now, isn't he a weak side backer?
Probably, yeah. Kilgore is the one guy who I think you can sell me on for the Niners because he really does need to be in zone and he needs to have kind of clear paths. Man, it's tough. There's a bunch of fine, pick your flavor safeties up until like pick 70, 80. And I do think they're going to go a lot earlier. And then after that, it kind of just falls off a cliff.
It does. I like Miles Rouser, and I like the kid from Maryland, Husky. There aren't too many safeties I like to though. It's really kind of a.
I'm willing to explore like a Xavier Nkwamba. Sorry,
Iowa.
apologies. Iowa. I really liked his tape last year, and I felt like he was somewhat similar to like an Eman Wari last year, and then he stayed, and he got worse. So he's not gonna do that. But like he's so athletic that it's like I don't know if you're just looking for somebody to be up by the line of scrimmage. Like let's do this. Larry can name more because Larry spends all of his time worrying about guys who are never going to make it in the league. I try to focus in on the guys that might cut it, which means that I have very few to choose this year. Larry's already gotten me on like 2 guys this year, and I got a goddamn draft guide.
My whole thing is that I start looking at deep dive guys.
Oh yeah,
and I get excited about day 3 guys. But you know what? Somebody should have me running their day 3 because you gotta have that kind of passion for this stuff. Otherwise, you don't find them.
I'll give you that.
One last thought. Lynch today was asked about Aiyuk. Schefter reported that the Niners may trade Brandon Aiyuk during the draft.
Yeah,
Lynch said that's not a high.
Did you just copy and paste that from John, or how does that work?
It doesn't seem like it's likely. Lynch said that he's had conversations with other clubs and that there's a chance that Aiyuk could be dealt. Lynch said he's had follow-up calls with teams also regarding an Aiyuk trade. He said not high probability, but what do you think? I mean, here's the thing. If you want to, if John Lynch has enough context, if he wants to, to find a trade partner, trades can be made. I mean, if you're willing to make a trade, trades can be nothing. Trades can be, I trade you the last pick of the 6th round for the first pick of the 7th round. I mean, trades can be literally absolutely nothing. So I don't know. To me, it's a no-brainer. And I've said it a couple times, and people are tired of it. Some people, Invader 49er, I had to block him the other day because he's like, I'm, outraged that Krug goes with this nonsense. But I just look at the Aiyuk thing, and I think there's no way you're going to trade him for anything other than a 27 conditional pick or a player that you don't want anymore. Because those are the 2 things those are both nothing. What's the something trades that you get nothing? It really looks like, it's a trade. So it's something, but it's actually nothing. It's the player that we're going to cut anyway, that we trade you, or the draft pick that means nothing because it's really just conditional and it's all, moving around, the option to flip flop in the 7th or whatever it is, nothing type trades. I would say if Lynch wants to make a nothing type trade, he's clearly connected enough in the league where he probably can't. My point is, if they really want to make a trade to keep Aiyuk from going to a place that they think he's going to go, let's just say Washington, I bet you they could probably pull something off, because the team that's going to trade for him is probably going to either renegotiate his deal or cut him if he doesn't renegotiate the deal. So it's like, it's all, and the fact that he's had follow-up calls with teams makes me think that maybe there are some teams that are at least saying, okay, send us the medicals, send us the pictures, send us the video, whatever. But then there's also part of me that thinks that Aiyuk, if he had any ability to play right now, he'd be showing it by running routes, and that alone would probably make some teams interested. He's all kinds of incentivized to do exactly that. He put all kinds of other social media things out there forever, and now suddenly he's doesn't have anything to say. Something tells me that there's a chance that he's nowhere, that he's not going to come back, that's it. That's a wrap, that he's just going to take whatever cash he got and just pack it up and go home. I don't know. I mean, this is one of the weirdest things ever, but for Lynch to come out today and say that he still thinks there's a chance of making a trade on draft weekend, I almost feel like if they don't make a trade right now, they may kind of look kind of silly. And they're going to be not beyond silly. They're going to open themselves up for some criticism. I think
let them have it.
They will get some criticism, whether they care or not.
That's fine. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Like
I'm just saying, they're going to get criticized if they get nothing for him.
Well, there's no reason to get rid of him as on a cut right now. You push this thing all the way till the very end, because then maybe somebody gives you something. But clearly, no one's wanted to give him anything, and no one is, because you're right. You'll have to renegotiate the contract. That requires a conversation with Brandon Aiyuk. Is anyone talking to Brandon Aiyuk? Doesn't seem like it. Brandon Aiyuk's so like you can't make that trade being like, hey, we're about to make a trade, but we need to talk contract beforehand, which is a baseline conversation, though technically illegal, that everyone would have in such a circumstance, right? In the same way that A.J. Brown's getting traded to the Patriots. Everybody knows this. It's just a question of when it can be done for tax, effectively tax purposes with the cap. So June 1, that's going to go down or whenever. Maybe they spread it out a little bit for plausible deniability. But the Aiyuk thing is pretty simple. No one's heard from him. No one's talking to him. And the 49ers are like, well, shit, he's not going to show up to work. I was asking someone the other day, I'm like, what's the worst that can happen by waiting on this Aiyuk thing? People might still call. Someone might do something dumb, but there's no new information. There's no new conversations. And it's like, what's the worst that can happen? And the worst that can happen, we came to the conclusion, is he just decides to start showing up for work one day because he is still technically part of the 49ers. And then the Niners would have to cut him. Then the Niners would have to do something. But seeing as no one's heard from him, he's not posting anything, so there's no, evidence that he's interested in talking to anybody, at least publicly, which is, again, as you pointed out, the opposite of what we were doing mid-season. No one's fearing that he's just going to show up to work one day. So they don't have any incentive to do anything before they have to. Because, again, much like, oh, well, he's still going to be on the roster at the beginning of training camp. No, he isn't. He'll be on the bottom of that 90-man list as, did not thing, whatever. And then September 1, before he's owed some money in the contract, if he's still owed that money in the contract, they'll cut his ass. And then good luck to you finding your next team. But they're going to extract a little bit. They're going to extract a pound of flesh or two because he was a pain in the ass to deal with during the contract negotiations. And then he ghosted him. He didn't go full Devondre Campbell, but it was Devondre Campbell adjacent. And we remember how pissed Lynch was about that. And he hasn't played in the league since. So they're going to extract a pound of blood. They're going to make an example out of him. And I don't think they're in any way wrong to do it. If that's going to bring criticism, that's fine. I don't think the people doing the criticism know the half of it because I don't know the half of it. And the half that I do know, I feel totally fine with them extracting it. He changed his mind 5 times during contract negotiations on whether he wanted to be with the 49ers or not. He was flaky then. So then for him to just ghost him mid-season, again, Campbell adjacent. No one's going to trade for him because here's the other aspect of this that I don't think is talked about enough. No one knows what his contract actually is. If you're going to trade for him, you take on his contract. Is that did the 49ers nullify those guarantees? Do they automatically kick back in? Should he get traded to another team? That's what the follow-ups are about. Yeah, sure. Send us the medical stuff, all that, whatever you have, because you haven't seen it in a while. And 2, can you send us the details of this contract so we know what we're working with? Because I don't know what they're working with. I think the Niners have a pretty good idea, but you open yourself up to a PA investigation the second you trade him again because Brandon Aiyuk could just say oh, well, that's not the contract I signed with the 49ers and the guarantees that they nullified. I said I was cool with them nullifying them, but I'm not cool with you nullifying them. It's a Pandora's box. The only way this ends is him getting cut, and the 49ers are keen to drive that out as long as they can. It'll probably be sooner than September 1, but it could be September 1, and I don't think they're in the wrong for that.
Whether it's the June 1st, up until June 1st, they're totally fine. If it gets beyond June 1st, that's when I think it's time for them to move on. There's no reason to be punitive to a player, and at this point, June 1st, it makes sense because you're splitting it between
argument.
2 years, but that's the key element here. And as long as the Niners get to do what they want to do with the money, that's fine. But then after June 1st, let's let them.
Well, the argument that they'll make, or they could make,
somebody could get hurt, and then there's somebody might want to trade for them, and this and that. There's they can hold them for possible scenarios.
Again, I hear he ain't going to show up to work. He ain't an issue. He'll get asked. Kyle will get asked about him once a week. He'll say nothing new. They'll move on. It won't be annoying enough. No one, somebody might be out they're doing Brandon Aiyuk wrong, and the Niners will laugh at it because it's y'all don't even know. Again, I don't have the details on it, but the way I listed it out with somebody who has all the details, they're yeah, you got all that right. and there's some other stuff. I'm like, yeah, you want to tell me? That'd be great. It would be really useful. And they're like, nope, you don't even know the half of it, buddy. So yeah, I don't think that they have any incentive to do the right thing for Brandon Aiyuk. And the way that it sounds, I don't think that they're interested in doing the right thing for Brandon Aiyuk. They're interested in doing the right thing for the San Francisco 49ers. And frankly, because I don't think there's any way that this ends without him getting cut, that is holding on to him until the very last second, hoping that somebody dumb enough comes along and says, let's do this thing for anything.
Seriously. Maybe the Cowboys get an itchy finger and say, hey, we'll give you a first-round pick.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, listen, we still operate in a league with the Cleveland Browns, so anything is possible.
There you go. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to, of course, Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring the Krug Show as well, and our good friends at Habas Law. And also thank you, AlamarMarina.net. Dine while you float.
Hey now.
On the Sacramento River. They're at 5999 Garden Highway. They're open Wednesday through Saturday, 11 to 7, Sunday 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Try the shrimp tacos, the lobster roll. I had the burger last time I was there. 5999 Garden Highway, the Alamar Marina, AlamarMarina.net. Fantastic restaurant. Really enjoy it. And they're great sponsors of the Krug Show. Also, thank you to our good friends at Novato Chevrolet. David Corral is the man to go see. He will get you a screaming deal. Tell him the Krug sent you. The owner is Gus. Family-owned dealership. They've been there for decades. Awesome place, and they'll give you a great deal. Tell them that you know me. Go ask for David Corral. They are family-owned for 50 years, rated top car dealership by Carfax. So really, really good dealership and top flight service. Really good stuff. So, and thank you as well to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. The great Anthony Catania is offering free shipping on any orders that you make on any collectibles if you are a fan of the Krug Show. So you just mentioned the Krug Show, you get free shipping at Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're in Pacific Grove, and he's a great follow on Instagram at Sharp Corners 831 on the gram. For Dieter, I'm Larry. Have a great night, everybody. More draft coverage coming tomorrow, the next day. Order the Dieter and Hutch draft guide. Go to
sickos.football.
Sickos.football for the draft guide. Get the draft guide. The draft guide's awesome. They worked countless hours on it. Check it out. Get it. And support Dieter and Hutch because they do an amazing job. Anyway, thanks to you guys. Have a great night. Thursday night's coming just around the corner. Can't get here soon enough. Peace.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you won't get exactly what you ask.